Okay, we're here to talk about projects, I think. I enjoy getting into projects. Well, the first set of projects is all going to be coffee. I'm into restoring these retro espresso machines. I think I've spent enough time with a few of these machines to think, well, why not share what I found out? Why not share what I've discovered along the way? I've enjoyed the process. I think that lever machines in particular are really cool and quirky to use. And if I can contribute to the community that enjoy these machines or inspire someone new to discover these espresso machines, or even just to get into espresso making, home espresso making, I think this is a good enough reason for this video to exist. I'm not an expert, merely an enthusiast. And there are people out there who have covered plenty of the things that I'm going to share already. I'm not going to try and reinvent the wheel, but I'm going to try and have a bit of fun. So, lever machines. I'll kick off with my everyday machine. This is my Europiccola late model, I guess mid 2000s. I got it secondhand, so I don't really know. It doesn't really matter, and people have mixed opinions about this late model, but I started out with older machines, and I have to say, since using this newer model, I've really enjoyed it. It's a great machine. Let's roll the damn thing, do the clips. So besides just trying to show off all of it quirky good looks and the nostalgia of the machine with all the great chrome and I guess all of the kind of steampunky levers and stuff, if you're not familiar with these machines, it's a brass boiler that pressurizes some water to a point, and then when it's hot enough you can open up a lever to start making some coffee in the container we call a group head. You then pressurize all of that good water to make a very traditional espresso. This is what makes it so simple. Very few moving parts, very little to go wrong, and a tried and tested design for decades and decades. I'm trying to give you facts about when they were first made. I don't know. 1960s, I'm guessing. Something around this time when Pavoni got patents to the espresso making designs that someone invented, someone else. And anyhow, this became a really accessible domestic machine that hasn't really changed much. I've really enjoyed the pressure stat that controls the temperature of the boiler, keeps the temperatures more stable. It wastes a lot less electricity by continually kind of overheating and venting steam with the older models. And just generally, it's a really kind of clean and enjoyable machine to use. I'd recommend it. The areas where people claim perhaps it's been cheapened are not necessarily a big problem to me, but those that might be making lots of coffee back to back might find that it overheats a little. So then there are some modifications, and this is another side of the video we could get into, I guess. I installed the famous bong insulator. This definitely makes the temperature of the group head a lot more stable. It does take longer to warm up as a result. I've upgraded the seals in the piston to silicone, and as a result it's a lot smoother and more enjoyable to use. with the lever action. I've installed a bearing in the lever section and some stainless steel screws to make servicing a little quicker and easier. All of these things are quite kind of minimal and not really that important. I'd say perhaps the most important thing I've done since getting this machine has been getting the bottomless portafilter. Straightforward fit as long as you get the right size, and it's something I've done on every espresso machine I've ever owned. As soon as I've got it almost is get this bottomless portafilter. Perhaps we can get into bottomless portafilters on their own in another video. Things like helping with extraction, getting some fancy looking espresso pools if that's what you like to get videos of and post on TikTok. There's also the puck screen filter. This is something well worth considering for the consistency of shots. I've used it on other machines as well, but with this being the 51mm group head, I guess some things are just very specific to this machine that you'll need to consider with your own. There's very little else that I think I've really changed to this machine. It's been pretty much up and running as is, and it's comparable to the other machines I've got in terms of the quality of the output. I guess the main things that any of these machine owners tend to focus on is the temperature of the water. You can try and study that to make sure that you're not overheating, and then I guess it's all down to puck preparation and coffee, the coffee you're using. There is a cult following for these machines, and I've watched the second-hand price of these go up in the last 5 years. There are definitely cheaper manual machines, but I wonder by how much. And if you were prepared to get a second-hand machine and restore that, then I think there would be a big saving. But they're a desirable machine, really. I think it will never fully go out of fashion, and I guess if you were to buy one, you could probably expect the value of it to be pretty stable versus buying something else that maybe it's more modern, maybe it's cheaper, but I can't imagine the value of it being as stable as the La Pavoni. It certainly wasn't a factor for me. I just love this machine, and I feel that I'm taking part in a great tradition by having one and enjoying using it. So what about the future? I'm interested in this dual pressure stat. So you would be able to toggle between a coffee making setting with lower temperature for the boiler up to a higher pressure for steam. At the moment, I think it's a happy medium, and so the steam is not as hot as I think the element can make it if that was boosted, which would involve a few other small modifications to the electrical system to retrofit that. And then I'm curious, there's lots of fun, geeky stuff out there, I guess, at the moment, talking about optimal puck diameter. If that is something that rocks your boat, then great. If not, I do not blame you. But I guess I'm guilty for at least being curious, and conveniently I have an older generation La Pavoni that there'll be no harm in using the group head from that machine to actually downsize my group head from 51mm, which is, you know, allegedly, if you're looking at the studies, way better than 58mm. I'm not looking at the studies, by the way. There are probably other benefits, like the brass sleeve that will be easier to clean, service, and more durable, that I feel more reassured by using. Maybe some of my accessories are nicer for my 49mm group head as well, but again, like it's not really a groundbreaking modification. But for those that are interested, stick around if you want to see an old generation group head putting on a new generation boiler. Crazy stuff. If I was to do the pressure stat modification, I'd probably look into getting a pressure gauge for the boiler. It will ruin the purity. I do love the simple gaugeless look of the Europiccola. It's a timeless kind of classic, but it's not all about purity. Anyone who knows that reference, then you will know the ethos that can go with just pursuing your interests, pursuing what you love, and that doesn't necessarily all come down to buying into a conventional aesthetic. Sometimes the aesthetic can be loved just because you love it, and that's enough. So maybe I won't get as many views because this aesthetic is not going to be something that everyone's going to love, but this is it. This is authentic. And maybe some other aesthetical mods that I like. I don't like the plastic drip tray, for example. So come with me on an adventure for a new drip tray. This video has already been too long and I've talked about one coffee machine. Just imagine the places we could go when we talk about other things. So consider liking and subscribing to embark on this adventure together. What more can I say?